Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of ArmTalk. I'm your host, Jody Williams. And today I got a special guest, good friend of mine. He's been in the news for a while, and I want to know what he's up to these days. So, Mr. Kyle DePew, my friend, how you doing today?
Hey, Jody. What's up, brother? Thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Daniel York is in there. How you doing, Daniel? Welcome to the show. So, tell everybody what you've been up to because you've been making some waves. You've been taking on this match and that match, and I kind of want to know what is the end goal and the end goal of all this stuff.
So the end goal is to continue to promote professional arm wrestling. I want to bring the sport to the highest level possible, just like everyone else.
Right.
I don't think what I do is any different than what other people do. Maybe my means of doing it are sometimes a little odd, but at the end of the day, I just really care about the sport and I want to do good by it. So I have a lot of fun doing what I do. And, Derek had taught me when I was very young that you can't be afraid to take matches. So I've never backed down from a challenge in my life. Essentially, at this point, I go places when I'm sponsored to or when I have some form of financial bet that would cover me if I were to win.
Right.
And I went a whole year where I won all my super matches. It was like a crap ton of super matches, like one after another, big money matches in different states. And then, now I'm on a little bit of a losing streak, but I'm loving it. I feel like I learn a lot with everything I do, and I plan to continue to do what I do.
Well, that's okay because I know exactly where you're coming from taking on these super matches. I got one coming up in 3 weeks, and if I'm able to be victorious there, then I will end the year 2021 with a 4-0 record in super matches. But I do want to say there was a match that was going to happen, but it got canceled. And it was going to be you versus Alan Fisher. Before I ask you that question, what happened? Paul Stevens is saying, what's up? Carolyn Looms is saying, Cal DePew, the chairman of the board, is in the house. My question is, whatever happened with that match with Alan Fisher? Because I was kind of looking forward to it.
Yeah, brother. To be honest with you, it just was no longer a good idea for Alan or I.
Okay.
I've been feeling really strong. Like, even right now, after some hard gym training, I pulled Carl Gerardi yesterday, felt great against him. And Carl's potentially the true number one of San Diego, depending on who you want to believe and whatnot.
Right.
In my opinion, Carl's the true number one, but there's also guys like Paul Stevens, Dave DePew, Alan Fisher, Russell Stark, Scott Sabrowski. Like, there's a lot of really high contending people who live in San Diego. But I was really looking forward to pulling Alan. It didn't work out. Essentially, we're gonna pull, but we're not gonna pull now. I'll pull Tim Lewis first, and then I'll pull Alan Fisher probably in March.
What are your What do you think your chances are against Tim Lewis? Because I'm just for me to you is a guy who purposely slips out to get into the strap. So if you want to call him another Dallas Langston, whatever, but I know his track record. He's like the machine when it comes to every state known to mankind. I think aside from Iowa, Alaska, and Hawaii, but he's taken on any kind of super match you want to throw out there. And his style is that as soon as you go inside, it's like a magnet. He takes you right into his power, and it's very, very difficult to get out of that unless you can match that power. So what do you think your chances are against one Tim Lewis?
So it's kind of an interesting match because I know Tim's always been more of a lefty, but he's gone a lot better on his right arm. So people in the East Coast think I have no chance of winning, and then people on the West Coast actually believe I should be favored to win. So yeah, I don't know. I've pulled Tim only in practice before. I know I've assessed myself against him at least once a year since coming back to the sport.
Right.
I feel like I know where I stand against him, but I also know he's gone a lot better on his right arm to the point where maybe he should be favored to beat me. I'm not entirely sure. But we'll find out. We'll find out real soon. It's coming up quickly, and Tim's a strong dude, and I don't plan to top roll him either. I really want to make sure that I beat him in the straps, in the hook. But I'm not sure if I'll let him get to the straps initially. I think I'm going to hold on to his hand pretty well. Okay. And just pin him driving sideways, to be honest with you. We'll see how it goes.
Good. Is there a weight cap?
No weight cap. I'm actually going to come in the biggest I've ever been for a super match.
Which is?
Well, right now I'm pushing 210. I want to get to 225. So I have about 2 months to do that.
Right.
I just started programming with my dad, Dave DePew.
Yep.
And man, I'm doing 3-hour workouts, high volume, like arm wrestling specific training with gym training and table time once a week. And honestly, like I was punching pumpkins last weekend, so my hand's a little fried, but
right.
I pulled with Carl and everyone else in San Diego yesterday, and I truly feel like I'm the number one of San Diego. So I'm happy to pull Tim for the Omega exhibition title. It's not like it's an Omega title for a state versus state. Tim's not the best in his state. I'm not the best in my state.
Right.
It's just an exhibition type title. More importantly, Joel Huddick and Niles Anderson are competing for the Omega title of Ohio. You could argue they're not the best of Ohio, but we don't really care. We're gonna give one of them the Omega title because we have to get that going in the state in which it's originating. You know.
Gotcha. So Texas Piranha's in the house, and Texas Piranha, thank you for subscribing. Hope you enjoy the show. Paul Stevens laughed and said, "Well, you didn't pull him."
Yeah, the thing is, I'm not afraid of losing to anyone who thinks I don't deserve the title, and I'll go on record to say that I don't deserve the title right now either because I haven't beaten Alan Fisher. I beat my dad, who had beaten Alan Fisher, but I still need to beat Alan. I still need to beat a lot of people per se, you know.
Right.
So I'll pull Paul Stevens, I'll pull Scott Strabrowski, I'll pull whoever they think is number one of San Diego, and I'll prove that I'm number one of San Diego.
I like that because I made a clip earlier in the week, and people thought I lost my goddamn mind when I sat there and said, "Hey, guess what? Next year, I'm going toe-to-toe with Robbie Topi." And I think the minute I posted that on social media, I was getting messages and phone calls going, "Dude, that's ballsy." I'm like, "What's the weight cap?" And, "Oh, man, that's a bizarre matchup." And, I didn't want to sit there.
People may have said it was bizarre, but they don't know how strong Roger Bailey Learned is. You just beat Roger, who, I mean, some people favored you, some people favored him. Doesn't matter. Right. I know how strong Roger is. I've seen him hang up Cody Merritt in a tournament. You know, Roger is really freaking strong.
Yes.
Like he's not someone that people should just say like, "Oh, Jody beat some newcomer." Roger's not no newcomer. He's too humble. Yes. That was a huge, huge win, and I totally think you could beat Robbie Topi. It's just, timing-wise.
Yes, thank you. But I tell you what, though, Robbie won't be coming in at 260, 270. I talked to one of his teammates the other day that trains with him, and he is around 235 as we speak. So, he's coming down in weight. And then he also put a thing on social media saying, "Hey, I'm coming down. We'll see if this is a good idea for him to come down in weight." The Robbie Topi I've known over the years, and I'm 0-2 against him, is 265, 270. That's when I ever had the goal to pull in the supers just because I wanted to see where I was stood. And I would get smacked, and I understand that. May sneak in a win here and there, but I'm 0-2 against Robbie, so I'm excited to pull him. Now, this is not until June of next year, so I got nothing but time, and more time to pull him. But getting back to what you said about Roger Learn, ladies and gentlemen, Roger Learn is probably one of the strongest guys I've pulled in an actual one-on-one match. And I'm telling you right now, I still, kind of wonder, how did I beat the guy? Well, I can tell you how I beat Roger. I beat him with my hand and speed, but that's neither here nor there. The guy is just straight up. If you've seen a picture of him doing a double bicep, and on paper, it looks like, Jody, man, I love you, man, but you don't have a chance against him. And the outcome was different. But by no means, never count me out. But my secret to Robbie Topi is the fact that if I somehow, somehow, some way, could sneak in one win of the best of 5 or a race to 3 wins, whatever you want to call it. If I can sneak in one win, I think that'll do me wonders, and I'll put a feather in that cap right there. But yes, I'm excited for that. And I've seen you do
and
that.
A best of 3, Jody, you only have to win 2.
Hey, yeah, you're right. But you know what? I want to try some new things against people, And the thing is, though, is that I really want to test myself. And the whole purpose of that thread I put up there is because there are some arm wrestlers out there. We know them, but not everyone acts like this. But we know there are some that rather just kind of, I'm going to just stay in my lane, meaning that, they don't want to test themselves or challenge themselves because they think if they lose or ends up on social media and the whole world will see them lose, that if for some strange reason damages their legacy, whatever the case may be. And my answer to that is the fact that if you pull long enough in this sport, and this is me 11 years in, going on 12, if you pull long enough in this sport, you are bound to take a loss. End of, right? So I'll give you a couple examples. When Michael Todd beat Devin Larratt in, what was that, Wall 506 or whatever, or 406, did that damage Devin's legacy? No. King of the Table, the rematch, when Devin beat Michael, did that damage, Michael's legacy? No. So again, and coming up on December 11th, King of the Table 2, John Brink, Devin Larratt. Somebody has to win, but even if whoever loses that match, it does not damage their legacy. So I think people are like scared, but I think now we're starting to say, you know what? I'm going to challenge myself and see what happens. And I applaud that. I applaud that from you,
Well, they, in some way, have a right to be scared because your legacy can never be damaged by a loss, but your perception can be.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just something you have to not care about. In a developing sport where nothing truly matters yet, like we're all working our asses off to bring the sport to a higher level, you can't care about your perception to the point where you're afraid to take matches,
Right.
Essentially, your win-loss record, you can keep that intact if you want. You can pick and choose your matches all you want, whatever. But there comes a time where you're put in situations like I was, where I had 8 days notice. I had just pulled for 15 days straight.
Right.
And I was offered the opportunity of a lifetime to pull someone at the same event where Todd Zilla pulled Corey West.
Right.
I chose to have 2 matches. I didn't even particularly had been hurting upon the end of the 15 days. It started feeling better a couple days after I accepted, so I went in feeling pretty healthy. But essentially, I was put in a position where I could have pulled anyone who I ever wanted to pull right-handed. I chose Niles Anderson because I knew he had beat Artem. I knew he was favored to beat me and probably would beat me. And then I chose Matt Craig so that I could have that match with Niles Anderson. It was like I had to do both of them to get on the card, essentially. So
right.
When you're put in situations like that, it's a no-brainer to someone like me who's trying to not only grow the sport, but grow my own accolades. I just got to compete on an event that raised $11,000 for charity. And David Kotlow sent me an Omega watch for my efforts for losing. And people don't understand that. They get so offended by that. But essentially, nice people are going to treat you nicely when you do nice things for them and for others.
Exactly.
And if arm wrestling is something that allows me to do that, I love it for that,
Right. I agree. I'll be the first to admit, before I go any further, Macho Man Arm Wrestling Channel is in the house. # beef stick if you need them, right? Paul Stevens says, Kyle, he has gotten stronger and stronger every time I pull him. Looking forward to the day Kyle beats me in a tournament. I'll be very proud of Kyle. He's number one in my eyes. And it's good because there's nothing better than when you train with somebody that can see your progression firsthand, okay? And sometimes we all wonder, am I really getting stronger with my own teammates? And sometimes because you pull each other so often, every week, every other day, what have you, and you really don't know, because when you become teammates and close in styles or whatnot, you know what they do, they know what you do, and you really don't know until you say, okay, let me venture out, let me venture out of my comfort zone and see what I've been working here at practice. Is it really paying off as I apply this method towards somebody else in a different region, in a different tournament? Do you agree or disagree?
I agree. You'll never know pulling the same person every day because you guys will take each other out. You're not going to be fresh, and you're going to know more when you start traveling. That's just the name of the game.
Yeah. So take a guy like me from Central Oregon, okay? And where have I gone this year? Nevada, Texas, Oklahoma, Florida, Missouri. So there's all kind of studs everywhere, right? And I want to test my skills. I want to know that outside of the Pacific Northwest, I want to know for a fact, do I have what it takes to even hang with these guys? Not so much beat them, but just hang with them, It was awesome to pull somebody from the East Coast. I mean, that buildup between me and Roger was just awesome because you got two different guys from two opposite ends of the country, Northeast versus Northwest, power versus speed, inside hooker versus the top row technician. And when you throw it all together, you don't know what's going to happen, right? Half the people are saying, oh, Thunder has this. Half the people says, no, Roger's too strong. He'll stop his head. And, that's what we want. We want the buildup. But again, at the end of the day, me and Roger sat at the same table up in Kansas City at the Fallen Heroes event. Him and his wife sat there, where it was me, Tim Talmadge, Cody Merritt and his wife, Roger Lerner and his wife. We all sat at the same table at the same event. Now, normally, why would you sit at the same table with an opponent you have at an event? That's kind of weird, but that's how much respect I got for Roger going into that match. And me and him chit-chatted during, after the event, and it was cool. I like that kind of stuff, and I think arm wrestling kind of got away from that for a while, the camaraderie, and I'm glad it's starting to get back to that, I'm really glad it's getting back to that, you know what I mean?
I agree, Jody. I think arm wrestling's in a really beautiful place right now, and I'm just so happy to be a part of it anyway, I think very soon we're going to see some really big operations. I can't say if I'll be doing any of those or not right now, right. But I know that people will be, and they're coming like 2022, 2023. Like we're all doing a lot of work here to bring the sport up. So I'm happy, and I can't wait for more opportunities for all of us.
Right. And Paul Italia's in the house. Paul, how you doing, sir? He's in the house. Good. And he's doing great things for the sport. Not a lot of people like him, but you know what, though? When you get to know him like I do, look at it from afar, in the bigger picture, he's making things happen in our sport, something we desperately need. And it's all good. And I like that, So what else you got on the horizon there, Kyle? Tell us, about your training. Were you in the did you go to the Sin City tournament in Las Vegas?
Yes, I was a sponsor and spectator at Sin City. It was amazing. I dipped out a little early before all the super matches just because I had an obligation to hang out with some friends for a little bit of a yearly shindig.
Right.
But what I'll comment on is that Sin City was amazing. Huge turnout, huge amount of spectators. A lot of good stuff is going on in Las Vegas right now for the sport. And I think very soon, Jody, we might see Las Vegas take over the arm wrestling world. It's possible, but San Diego's not going to give up either. We're gonna work hard to potentially be the place everyone talks about for arm wrestling as well. And that's what it's all about. Las Vegas, San Diego, Los Angeles, maybe even Sacramento one day. Like all these key West Coast points could potentially, develop and blossom into something amazing for the sport.
I'm glad that the old saying goes, how the West was won. And I'm glad it's a resurgence, because when I first got into it, it was the California Arm Betters and everybody else. And then they kind of fizzled for a while. The Arm Better team that we all know have kind of fizzled. But then now we got the resurgence of Las Vegas now. San Diego's in the house. I remember True Grit out of Bakersfield. when Herman Stevens was the captain of that team. And, I'm not sure what they're doing now. But now you got, just a influx of all these awesome pullers now, these teams now. And do not sleep on the West Coast, people. Please do not. 'Cause I'm telling you right now. And then you travel up north, you got the Oregon guys, such as me and your boy and everybody else. Then you go further north in Washington. Then you got Jacob Abbott and his crews. I'm telling you right now, mark my words, do not sleep on the West Coast when it comes to arm wrestling. So I'm telling you right now.
King of Cali had like 400 spectators, potentially more, because the whole entire event was like 6+ hours, and people came and went every hour, huge crowds. But at the very least, there was 300 or 400 people there at one time, and that was not for an arm wrestling tournament. That was just a set of super matches. So anyone who thinks the West Coast doesn't have the potential to take over the world for arm wrestling is gravely mistaken. Arm wrestling was born here, and it will live on here in ways that the rest of North America could only dream of.
I tell you what, some way, somehow, and I know the title of East versus West is pretty much taken, but from a country standpoint, this is what I predict. Some way, somehow, West Coast versus East Coast is going to happen at an event. Now, I don't know when this is going to happen. I don't know if even a thought in someone's head.
We'll put Texas in the West Coast, and we'll have David Kotlow and the AWU come out, and we'll make something happen.
There you go. Put Arkansas in there too. What's up, Rush Shredder? How you doing? Put Arkansas in there too, But it would be awesome. How about this? Check me out. How about this? How about we get East Coast versus West Coast? The East Coast is captained by Chance Shaw. The West Coast is captained by Derek Smith. And wouldn't you know? You know what I mean? Like, how awesome would that be?
Jody, that's the most amazing idea anyone's ever had.
I mean, I got some ideas that go on in my brain here.
We can meet in Texas. The TAL can sanction it, and we'll just throw the arm wrestling world for man. That's just, it's going to be huge. Can the captain super match finally, or what?
Yeah, because I got a lot of ideas about arm wrestling, but I can't fucking remember where I put my damn car keys. But that's neither here nor there. I just know that, when you have something like this, we got to think about it. Because I'm telling you, if you think about that for a second, awesome.
Hey, Derek's team is going to destroy Chance Shaw's team. I bet he can't put a roster together with all those PA guys. Do they even have arm wrestlers in the PA?
Well, I'm sure that, if you're talking about PAs,
JP versus Derek Smith, let's go.
Now, if you're saying the PA, you're talking about Pennsylvania, because that's a little different. Because then we're talking.
Yeah, I'm throwing a little bit of shade at the Pennsylvania guys.
You do realize who's over there, right?
They got a couple: Sam Harris, Travis Bajent.
They got Storm Chilino and Paul Lynn, and if you really want to, they got Dave Chafee.
Hey, give us a little bit of time to beef up our roster. We got Mega Mike. We got Derek Smith. We got Brandon Allen, who's coming up really quickly.
Right.
We got Cody Merritt. We got someone in Texas, I'm sure, that I'm not able to think of off the top of my head. Hey, if we have Arkansas, we got Michael Todd. There's some potential here. I don't count us out in any means.
If you want to add Arkansas, we got Rush Schrader. Along with Michael Todd, we still got Robbie Burnett. I mean, hell, man. And if you go that far, then right up north is Missouri, Underwood, Chase Stratton, the boys.
Pablo needs to happen pretty soon. Mega Mike versus Jerome Loud. Mega Mike versus Ron Bass. Sam Harris. Dude, Ole can take on Sam Harris. Mark my words. Give him some time, because right now Ole hasn't trained or dialed in for table or arm wrestling for like a long time now. But if you give him a big opportunity, money-wise, he'll come and he'll show up in good form.
Oh, let me ask you a question. Who on the East Coast is going to beat Greg Gray at 176? Go ahead. Who's going to beat him? Who?
That's a good one. Greg Greg could train up for something big, you know?
I'm telling you. And truth be told, I'm doing something, Kyle. Check this out. So, and anybody watching.
So there is one guy that comes to mind for Greg Gray at that weight.
Okay.
If he was willing to cut down a little bit, is Austin Wade.
Okay.
Austin Wade is one of the baddest dudes coming up in arm wrestling right now. And he's very close to Chance Shaw's heart as well. So I would imagine if Chance was going to build up a team, he would love to have Austin on that team.
There you go. And truth be told, check this out. So I wake up this morning about 2:27, right? And this is day 5 of your boy going. And guys out there, don't hate me for this, what I'm about to say. Because I know people like Rush Trader and Aaron Years are going to like get on my case about this. But I am day 5 in, and I know you can't tell anything after 5 days, but this vegetarian thing, I'm trying it. I won't see any results after 1 week, but I'm going to do this thing all the way through the end of the year. That means, yes, I'm going to, Thanksgiving, my favorite holiday, I'm going to stay laser sharp and back away from the turkey, all right? No meat. I want to see how this thing's. I'm sitting up here with a fucking plant-based tea right here, okay, energy drink, right? So I'm doing that kind of stuff now because if by chance, when I walk into 2022 and I cut some weight, I'm ready to fucking throw down with some of the lighter guys. Bring it. Bring that shit. Let's roll.
Bring it. And maybe you'll cut down and weight and you'll pull a bigger guy like Levi Prince.
Yeah, well, yeah.
200 pounds versus 400 pounds. Let's go.
Hey, when me and Levi after pulled at the Tulsa, Oklahoma, I didn't pull right-handed.
We felt pretty good against him in after pulling, but we both lost to him in the tournament, which was I think a lot of arm wrestlers were not expecting either of us to lose.
Yes.
At that point, but he beat you on his left arm. He beat me on his right arm, and then we were doing pretty well against him in the after pulls that day. I'm sure he's gotten a lot stronger, though.
Oh, I talk to him from time to time. I know for a fact he's getting stronger. So he's going to be a guy to look out, too. So he's an Oklahoma guy. I think that counts for West, right? Because I say that, the reason why I venture,
come join the team, brother.
The reason why I say that is because even though the states are smaller in the deep south and the northeast and all that whole Atlantic coastline, there's a lot more pullers per capita in that area than it is out west for whatever reason. But you know what, though? Somebody out there make that happen. East Coast versus West Coast.
Would destroy Paul Lynn.
Yeah. I'm telling you.
Destroy Paul Lynn. Who wants to make it happen? Mega Mike versus Paul Lynn.
Do you think that's a mismatch?
Travis Bajan. Someone.
Yeah. I mean, Paul Talia is like on the show watching, so his mind is spinning. Don't think for a second that he hasn't thought about this, and don't think for a second that he's not jotting information down, because I'm telling you right now, that would be badass, I mean, Rush Schrader, he's also talking about another good friend of mine, Cody Dollar, okay? They got Jeff Hale. I mean, where do we divide? I guess, hey, Kyle, my question would be, where do we divide the line as far as East and West? At what point do we stop?
Does it have to be a straight line?
I mean, I guess it could be diagonal or whatever, I mean.
Well, it doesn't even have to be diagonal. We can write out the territories if we wanted part of Arizona, not Arizona, part of Arkansas, part of Oklahoma. I don't know how any of that works per se, Jody, but it doesn't have to be a straight line all the way down,
Well, I tell you what, and for the guys out there who are familiar with the PAF, Rush Schrader, you're watching the show, you can answer this as much as anybody. You are talking about, and I don't know how everybody's geography was back in school, but Anthony Laterio, okay? I'm not going to crack on him, but, I always thought about, I would love to challenge for one of those PAF belts. So he has it broken down in regions. Cool, I get that. Now, the PAF, I don't know, I'm going to ask you a question, Kyle. You give me your opinion. The Northwest, what do you consider the Northwest?
Northwest, shoot, I don't know. What? That's like you, Washington. Northwest. Yeah, I mean, is Montana Northwest? I'm not entirely sure. I haven't traveled in that area as much as I've traveled on the east.
It can
so
be.
I'm
Usually,
not very familiar, but I would consider like the Southwest to be like, definitely my half of California, Las Vegas, Nevada, Utah, Arizona,
New Mexico, things like that. What I think.
Northwest. Maybe you guys have some of California on your side. I'm not sure.
It would be obviously Oregon, Washington, Idaho, a small portion of Montana. But my point being is when you have, and I was talking to Anthony about this a couple years ago. What do you consider the PAF Northwest? And he gave me a map, and I looked at him, I'm going, why in God's earth are you including Minnesota? Now, I'm not sure how he broke that down, but last I recall, Minnesota is the Midwest, but whatever. But that's why I was asking, where do you draw the line at, man?
Well, I know his Midwest is like really, it's really far east too. So,
right.
The maps for like these names, Midwest, Northeast, whatever, they don't have to be super accurate at times, which is probably why he has decided to put other states in there that maybe a professional map maker would not say,
Right.
But it is what it is. I think it's good for the sport. I like what Anthony's doing. It seems like he had a very successful event recently, and I'm working with him on the Omega of Ohio. He's going to run the tournament, and I'm going to, take care of super matches, sponsor the awards, that type of thing. And I think we'll blow up Ohio together.
Nice.
Anderson's my co-promoter for the super matches, and we're gonna really put in some work to make sure that's huge. And basically, the way I see it, the Omega of Ohio is Niles Anderson's baby. Once he beats Joel Huddick and claims the Omega watch, he's a promoter now, and he can run that Omega of Ohio yearly and be very successful at it.
Nice. And when is that again?
It's January 15th. That's when I'm pulling Tim Lewis. That's when Niles is pulling Joel Huddick. And, I think I'm going to cap it. I don't want any more super matches. I was trying to do Mega Mike versus Pablo for the Omega Mike. And then there was another person I was considering putting up against Mega Mike who is not well known but very freaking strong. He would have not been favored to win, but he's a strong dude, and he did well in Oklahoma when we were there. So I liked him a lot. But, I already have a great deal of super matches on the card, and it's going to cost me money to advertise them and get awards for them. So I might just stick with what I have right now, which is Greg Arnold versus Joey Melendez. And I have a few more really good ones as well, but that's the one I
Nice.
So that one, Greg is the son of Bill Arnold, a legendary arm wrestler.
True.
So it's going to be a great event. Overall, I think the tournament's going to go really well. Last year it got like 130 plus entries, and that was because of COVID. I expected to have well over 200 entries this year. I hope at least, we'll see.
So here's a question for you. I don't think I ever asked you this before, but I have to now since it's kind of popped in my head. Is there any kind of title you're chasing? You know what I mean? Like
there is.
Right.
I plan to beat Derek Smith, Mega Mike, in good time. It's not something I feel like I need to do tomorrow, and it's not something I feel like I need to do in the next 5 years. But anyone who's trained with me or really hung out with me, I think believes that I have the potential. It's not going to be easy, but I mean, I have a good genetic background. I just seem to get taller. Since coming back from Florida, I've grown almost an inch in height at 21 years of age. So I don't know. I think my frame will fill out. My hand size may never be super heavyweight material, but I'll just get super duper strong. And it'll happen one day. At the very least, I'm going to chase it. And if it doesn't happen, then I'll get pretty darn close one day.
Arm Wrestling Uncensored says, hey, you're a better promoter than Arm Wrestling. And Arm Wrestling also said that you got to beat Derek and Mega Mike. So
it's going to take time to beat Derek and Mega Mike. I already feel well against Mega Mike in practice. And when I'm fresh, I feel pretty well against almost anyone in California. At this point, Mega Mike, if he's fresh, or Derek, if Derek is just any day of the week, they may not be able to feel me at all times, but eventually I'll get strong enough. Derek claims he can feel me, but I don't know if it's true or not. So, I'll get to the point where eventually my strength will be so high, and I'll just have to dial in and, year by year, take names out.
And that's the thing. And that goes back to my point I made earlier. You pull your teammates and they can say, oh, yeah, you're getting strong, Kyle, in this position and that position. But you don't know for sure until you go out and try to get somebody you're not familiar with. And sometimes people kind of like, well, I never pulled this guy before. I don't know what to expect. But you got to look at the glass half full, because I go into tournament, or I should say super matches mostly, and tournaments going, I can sit there and go, hey, he's pretty good. He has a thick hand, or he has tremendous side pressure, blah, 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 blah. But I flip the script and go, well, they haven't pulled me either. So I always look at the glass half full in that aspect.
Absolutely. I've never felt delusional in anything, to be honest with you, Jody. I feel almost like I have a good foresight. Like I can see the future in not a natural sense, but in like a very calculated, like I see something and I try to take steps to get there.
Right.
Like even when I lose matches, I know I'm probably going to lose the match. Like I just make decisions in a very calculated way for my overall career. And people take it the way they want to take it. They might think I've lost potential because I keep losing match after match, but I don't think people understand that I'm a very calculated person. And as long as Derek believes I have the potential to be number one in California, I don't really care what anyone else says. She's going to record.
Well, it doesn't hurt that you got an awesome group of guys to train with. You know what I mean?
It doesn't hurt at all. I have the very best at my disposal, and I've been hyped up since I was very young. I left the sport for a couple of years, like no table time whatsoever, because I was a little burned out by the sport and just the whole atmosphere of how competitive and, some of the drama. When I was very young, I decided I wanted to get out, and I didn't comment on any of it. I just felt like the competing wasn't for me. Initially, I think when I was a younger kid and I was just pulling in amateurs and trying to win my golds against a very competitive amateur class, because the West Coast has always had a very competitive amateur class. Most don't know that, but it's been like that for, traditionally speaking, because arm wrestling was born here.
Right.
But yeah, I've always appreciated the sport because the sport's always done good things for me in my life. But when you're very young, like 15, 16, and someone trashes on you in a tournament because you pulled pro or pulled amateur, and they put up videos saying they smashed you and you have no potential when you're 15 years old, 16 years old, like sometimes the drama gets to you. And
right.
I just wanted to get away from that, and I wanted to focus on my life and do things productive, become a firefighter, go to college. But it's one of those things, man. You can never get out of it. Once it grabs a hold of you, it's like you're in for life. And sure enough, I was roped back into it through a couple different ways. And as soon as I got back into it, Derek made it very clear he was never going to allow me to leave. So I have no choice but to chase these dreams and aspirations of mine.
Well, yes. And then when Derek's doing that to you and you see his progression, it's almost like a slap in the face if you don't take his offer. You know what I mean?
It is, because I've always believed in Derek. I told Devin 2 years ago that Derek would destroy Eric's photo and that he's crazy for thinking Eric could beat these guys, let alone someone like Derek. I've pulled Eric's photo. I know him well enough. I've always went on record saying that. And I knew Derek had the aspiration of conquering the West Coast, beating Tom Nelson and beating whoever else was in his way. That's why I made it one of my life's missions to host the Tom Nelson versus Derek Smith event.
Right.
And I'm really happy with how that came out.
Is it Spoto or Spato?
I pronounce everyone's name wrong, so don't take my word for it.
Well, there you go. There's another one, East Coast. Eric Spato, Brandon Allen, Mega Mike. I'm telling you, Tony Thomason, bring it. Let's go, East Coast. I'm telling you, you know. Man, we should make this happen. I swear to God. Maybe you and maybe Paul Talia can get on the phone and go, hey, man, I got an idea. Derek Smith, Captain of the West.
Paul's a great guy. He's done great stuff for me, but I'll never undermine Bill Collins.
Right.
I basically, the way I look at it, anything I want to do in California, I have to do with Bill's blessing, because Bill is the man of arm wrestling. He's the promoter of promoters. He's the GOAT of promotions. I mean, this is like a side hustle for Bill Collins. He doesn't even do this to make money.
Right.
There's no one who knows how to do this better than Bill Collins. And then if I ever want to throw events like the Polar Press event I'm throwing with my dad, I mean, I have some of the best referees at my disposal, too. I got Boston and Alex, who are level 1 referees, but absolutely amazing. And then Reza Dilmagati doesn't live too far away from here.
Right.
I mean, I have the very best at my, in my circle. So Paul Italia is the man, though. There's no one who's hustling more right now than to bring the sport up in North American arm wrestling. And if he wants to do something in California, he should definitely give me a call. I'd love to work with him in any way.
Well, he's so damn busy, Paul is, that I'll like try to get a hold of him, and I don't get a response from him in like 5 or 6 days later. So that's how busy that guy is, trying to make things happen, put things together, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's going to be exciting. And by the way, I got to put it out there, because December 11th, we all know, there's so much going on. Kyle, let me ask you a question. Do you understand what's going to happen on December 11th?
Phew, man, a lot's going to happen on December 11th. I'll tell you, though, what, Jody? My boy, Paul Stevens is coming in with some heat. He's coming in with some heat for that round robin. I'll tell you that.
Hey, you know what? I'm sure he is. And with the 8-man round robin, we did a drawing, and he is my first number 1 opponent. He's the guy I got in the first round. So me and him are kind of off and on, going back and forth.
I think you guys are 2 of the best matches on the card, right-handed.
Yeah.
Left-handed, you'd beat him pretty dominantly, but right-handed, Paul's a bad dude these days.
Yeah,
he's a bad dude.
I'm hoping my little nagging injury will go away by then, and I also want to get through it. Let me get through that day right-handed. I'll be all right. But I mean, everyone
dig deep for that one.
Oh yeah, everyone's talking about, hey, December 11th, King of the Table 2, Devin Larry, John Brzezinski. I got you. Yes. Oh, December 11th, everyone's talking about Wayne Withers and Marcio Barboza. I get that. But also, December 11th, look no further. The Pacific Northwest.
I don't know why they added all that to the card, to be honest with you, Jody. I thought the round robin was enough. The round robin's already going to be like hours long. So I don't think I'll be at that event, but if it works out well for my schedule, who knows? I might fly myself out there if I can afford it.
Right.
But that's going to be a crazy event. Props to Tim Talishmej for putting that on. And I think Paul Italia is promoting it as well.
Yep. I almost thought that it might be 2 days. It should be 2-day event. Because, like you said, the 8-man round robin itself was good. It just got bigger and bigger. I'm pulling Mr. Jeff Frank out of Canada. So, he's going to bring some Canadians down. I mean, it's just a plethora of all kind of stuff. And I'm telling you right now that that's an event you do not want to miss. If you miss that, then this is the event that's going to cap off the year 2021 right there.
Hey, are there any 98 percenters coming out to that event?
Yeah.
Or are they not ready to invade us yet?
They're going to make an attempt to.
I hope there's at least a few, because the 98 is getting so large. I'm ready to pull some of them, and I'm ready to, show them what the West Coast has to offer.
It's okay. I already took one of them out for you. I took out Roger. He's a 98% guy. I took him out, so we're good.
Good soldier. Good soldier.
But I do realize that, if I'm not mistaken, I think Brennan Elsesser is a 98 guy. Is he not?
He is, and that's a little bit too high on my radar for now.
Right. So he'll be making a trip out west, So I'm telling you, do we need to go make a trip out to the East Coast and invade their shit?
I think we do, Jody, you and me.
Just go out there and go, okay. Whether it be the Keystone Classic or whatever the case may be, whatever tournaments they have out there, don't make us go out there.
Going on in February, the Winter Bash.
Yeah.
And Uncle John will be there. So maybe it's time Jody Williams and Cal DePew go visit the 98 operation. They do amazing stuff for the sport. And it'd be awesome to pull some of their guys. Yeah.
Don't make us go out there now because, hey, I have to go into my, my alter ego mode. This is Jody Williams talking to you. But if I got to go Chocolate Thunder and bring all the Pez Dispenser Nation with me, I will have to do it if I need to,
Let's go crack some risks. We got this.
Hell yeah, sir. Hell yeah. Well, my friend, I want to thank you for coming on the show. I got a few more things I got to get done and stuff, but man, it is awesome once again to have you on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me on again, Jody. I really appreciate you, brother, and you're always eager to have me on or to do something collaborative with me, and I appreciate that, man.
Yes.
I really do.
Yes, I'm telling you, man. Thanks a lot, man. And I will have you on yet again down the road. What do you think about that?
I think I'll be ready.
All right, my friend. Take care. Have a good rest of your week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Awesome, Jody. Have a great day.
All right, take care. Cal DePew, I'm telling you, young guy, really ambitious. And I'm saying this because he has an awesome, awesome group of guys to train with. So when you have that kind of talent and you train with those guys week in and week out, sooner rather than later, they're going to make some splashes, okay? And those splashes in the puddles are going to turn into waves in the ocean. That probably didn't make sense, but you get what I'm saying, though, right? Okay, so again, Cal DePew, and once again, December 11th. Oh, my God, I really can't tell you how important that weekend is. Because what you need to do, go ahead, make a trip up to the Pacific Northwest, I-5, if you will, wherever, and come aboard. Because I'm telling you right now, that is a weekend that everybody's going to remember. Everyone. That day might as well be a holiday, right? Washington State, King of Table 2, Brzezinski Larrett, Wayne Withers, Barbosa. I'm telling you. Some way, somehow, you're going to find yourself busy that day. I expect people calling in sick from work if they have to work that day. Okay? Just so they can find out, oh, man, I got to find out the results. It's going to be awesome. I'm telling you right now. So, hey, yes, Macho Man, get the beef sticks ready. Yes, Russ Schrader, the East vs. West, an awesome idea. We may have to alternate the name, but yes, I like that. I might have to get a hold of some people and try to put that thing in effect and see what's going on. But I like that. Team Captain Chan Shaw, Team Captain Derek Smith. Man, can you imagine that? Wow. All right, guys. I'm signing off for now because I got some other stuff to do and I got another show to do. So I will see y'all when I see y'all. As always, take care of you guys. Pull hard, train hard, be safe.